Who could blame the Washington Redskins for taking a breather against the Philadelphia Eagles? After all, the Eagles haven't won a game since October 9th. But these birds have not totally forgotten how to fly. Wide receiver Mike Quick, number 82, the league leader in receiving yardage, added 104 yards to his season total, plus 2 touchdowns. But on the downside, the Eagles dropped a half a dozen passes and turned the ball over 4 times while the Redskins played close to error-free football. Quarterback Joe Theismann threw 2 touchdown passes, 17 yards to Art Monk, and 75 yards to Charlie Brown, number 87. Spelled grief for the Eagles secondary, and his score helped the Redskins clinch a playoff spot 28-24. Even with a 7-game losing streak, the Eagles' woes cannot match the season-long despair of the Buccaneers and the Oilers, 2 luckless teams who had won but 2 games between them before this matchup last Sunday. In fact, if it wasn't for Oliver Luck, number 10, the Oilers wouldn't have any luck at all. Became just plain bad luck when 4 turnovers crippled Houston's chances at win number 2. Tampa Bay reversed their fortunes and broke a scoreless streak that reached 10 quarters. Quarterback Jack Thompson threw 4 touchdown passes, 2 to Kevin Fouts, and bagged the Bucs a win 33-24. While Tampa Bay and Houston are the league's losingest teams, at least they are consistent. The same can't be said for Lynn Dickey and the Green Bay Packers. Their losses are as exciting as their wins. 2 weeks before, the Pack blew a 20-3 lead to Detroit and lost. Last Sunday, Green Bay did themselves one better. James Lofton's touchdown helped build a 21-0 lead against Atlanta. But no lead is safe when it's protected by the Green Bay defense, a unit ranked dead last in the NFL. Falcon fullback William Andrews, number 31, thundered for 129 yards and 3 touchdowns. And on the final play of the first half, backup quarterback Mike Morosky launched a weather balloon toward the Packer end zone. In the arms of Stacey Bailey, number 82, between a host of Packer defenders, the Falcons had edged to within 3 points at halftime. In the 4th period, with the score tied at 34, Falcon cornerback Kenny Johnson, number 37, picked off a Lynn Dickey toss and returned it 26 yards for the go-ahead touchdown. Back to tie the score and sent the game into overtime. The Packers then won the toss and elected to throw the ball away. Lynn Dickey had a song of victory in his head, but it was poorly composed. Once again, it was Kenny Johnson who made the big defensive play for the Falcons. It marked the second time in 2 weeks that Atlanta won on the last play of the game, this time 47-41. Although both teams are 6-7, they still have a long shot at a playoff berth. And the way things are going for these two teams, it all may come down to a Hail Mary or a Big Ben on the final play of the year. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, the Dallas Cowboys are up for sale for the tidy sum of $60 million. So why not be the first on your block to own a perennial Super Bowl contender? On Thanksgiving Day, however, Cowboys stock dipped for a moment when St. Louis's Roy Green hauled in a Neil Lomax bomb to get the visitors on the board first. The Cardinals opened the scoring and ended the scoring when O.J. Anderson latched on to Lomax's second touchdown pass of the day. St. Louis's Turkey Day show had a stellar start and a solid finish, but what happened in between had Cowboys stock and Butch Johnson, number 86, soaring. Dallas controlled the line of scrimmage and thus the game as Howard Richards, number 70, pulled and provided escort duty for the surging Tony Dorsett. Dorsett rushed for a pair of touchdowns, won a 55-yard sweep where he got the corner and outraced everyone to spark a 35-17 Cowboy win. Dallas's 11th win of the season tied them with Washington for the NFL's best record and gave them a leg up in securing home field advantage in the playoffs. In the other Thanksgiving Day contest, one poor Steeler fan had both legs up as he got some help in entering the Silverdome. It was Detroit who feasted and Pittsburgh who had the stuffing knocked out of them. Ulysses Norris, number 80, caught two Eric Hipple touchdown strikes. And the usually non-blitzing Lions sent everyone but the trainer to harass and sack Cliff Stout for the full 60 minutes. Detroit handed Pittsburgh their second straight loss of the season as Robbie Martin's punt return iced a 45-3 lapper for the Lions. Pittsburgh's defeat was their worst in years, and Detroit's win tightened things up considerably in the NFC Central. The Bears did their share of knotting up the division race by beating up on the sputtering 49ers and Joe Montana. High-powered Niners were limited to a mere field goal, and Jim McMahon fired the game winner to number 85, Dennis McKinnon, as Chicago won 13-3. The Bears' victory made them very happy. Just how happy? Well, keep your eye on Big Noah Jackson, number 65. The New York Jets have not had a great deal to be happy about this season. So Wesley Walker taped up his ear holes to block out the boos and New York's season-long frustration. It worked as Walker's concentration and that of his teammates netted the Jets their second straight win. Walker caught 2 from Richard Todd for scores, and the Jet defense, led by Mark Gastineau, made rookie Tony Eason's first pro start a very forgettable one. A couple of weeks ago, many thought that Gastineau's dancing would end when the playoffs began. But you know what? There are still 3 games remaining, and Gastineau and his buddies still have a mathematical chance. Maybe the dance is not over yet for the Jets. Two weeks ago, what chance Cleveland had of catching Pittsburgh in the AFC Central seemed but a faint flicker of hope blowing in the wind. But since then, Steeler fortune has fallen, and the Browns have literally caught fire. Against the Baltimore Colts, the Browns set out in search of their 3rd straight shutout, with the same hard-hitting abandon that produced the previous 2. Unfortunately for the Browns, their shutout streak did come to an end, as Colt quarterback Mike Pagel discovered that being a bit unconventional was one way of putting points on the board against Cleveland. McMillan's second-period touchdown kept this game close for only a minute or so. Cleveland's defense may have been cooled, but its offense was just warming up. Brian Sipe's skillful sidestepping of a rush by Colt defensive end Donnell Thompson gave him just the time he needed to spot his favorite receiver, tight end Ozzie Newsome, number 82. Newsome's 66-yard touchdown was one of 8 catches on the day for the veteran tight end, who ended the afternoon as the Browns' all-time leading receiver. While Ozzie's star was on the rise, Brian's arm was burning the sky as Sipe seared the Colt defense with 20 completions in 33 attempts for 313 yards and 3 touchdowns. Brown's 41-23 drubbing of the Colts left Cleveland a game back of Pittsburgh in a fight for the AFC Central crown. That may not be resolved until they meet on the NFL's final weekend. In Los Angeles, 2 interconference foes with divisional crown aspirations met head-on, with push coming to shove on this hotly disputed play. Ultimately, this Joe Ferguson to Byron Franklin 43-yarder was ruled a touchdown, but it was one of just a few times this afternoon that a Ferguson pass found a Bill receiver rather than a Ram defender. Los Angeles intercepted Ferguson 5 times, with the most damage inflicted on the 60-yard touchdown return by safety Johnny Johnson, number 20. It was only 1 week before that the Rams were victimized by 4 interceptions at the hands of the Washington Redskins. Playing the Redskins is not at all like playing the Bills, as Vince Ferragamo will gladly attest. Ferragamo fired 3 touchdown passes, 2 to wide receiver Preston Denard, as the Rams corralled the Bills 41-17 to take over sole possession of the lead in the NFC West. In San Diego, the return of quarterback Dan Fouts has probably come too late for the Chargers, who entered their game against the Broncos as the sole possessors of last place in the AFC West. It had been 6 weeks since the Chargers were last led by Fouts' fiery brand of leadership, and number 14 wasted little time rediscovering his soft touch and redirecting a recently reeling San Diego offense. Fouts hit on 24 of 33 passes, including 2 first-period touchdown strikes to Kellen Winslow, number 80. The competitive spirit sparked by Fouts' return carried over to the Charger defense, which limited Denver to a single touchdown, while intercepting Bronco quarterback John Elway 3 times. The 31-7 victory was the Chargers' biggest of the year. Denver's loss dropped their record to 7-6, but surprisingly, the Broncos are still very much in contention for an AFC wild card berth. For the 5-8 Chargers, well, they are no longer sole possessors of last place in their division. But the return of Dan Fouts brought to mind just what might have been in what still is a dark season of despair in sunny San Diego. In the Louisiana Superdome, the Saints rebounded from their near-fatal loss on Monday Night Football to remain one game off the pace in the NFC's Western Division, as the conference's top-ranked defense limited Minnesota to merely 245 total yards. After the game, Viking quarterback Steve Dill said the Saints and the Steelers were the toughest teams he faced this year. New Orleans defensive end Bruce Clark, number 75, reflects this toughness, choosing to take a direct approach while the Viking offense tried to skirt the issue on a misdirection play. Goal line specialist Wayne Wilson leaped for both Saints touchdowns, giving him 9 of his team's 17 scores on the ground. Still, the Vikings had a shot to win with 1:51 left to play. But former Saints kicker Benny Ricardo's 47-yard field goal try was wide. The 17-16 loss cost the Norsemen sole possession of first place in the NFC's Central Division. The win kept faith with the legions of fans who are determined to bear witness to the first winning season in Saints history, as well as their debut in the NFL playoff system. Who dat team in New Orleans? By season's end, the world may know. In an historic shootout under the Kingdome, the Seahawks and Chiefs scored 99 points, the third highest total in NFL history. All told, the two teams set a league record of 59 first downs while combining for 962 yards of offense. Seattle's underpublicized quarterback Dave Craig continued to shine, passing for 280 yards and 3 touchdowns. His counterpart on KC, Bill Kenny, threw for 311 yards and 4 touchdowns. Any lingering doubts that this was not a day for defense were confirmed by official decree, albeit somewhat reluctantly. While the teams matched each other pass for pass, there was a vast discrepancy in the ground games. It belonged to Seattle and the flying feet of Kurt Warner, number 28. The super rookie ran for a team record 207 yards and scored 3 touchdowns. The outcome narrowed down to Norm Johnson's 42-yard field goal with 1:46 gone in overtime. It was Johnson's first winning kick of any kind and kept the Seahawks' flickering hopes for a wild card spot alive. A full 3 games ahead of Seattle in their division are the Raiders with the best record in the AFC at 10-3. Led by Jim Plunkett's pair of touchdown passes, the Silver and Black easily rolled over the hapless Giants 27-12. New York did manage several long pass plays, including a 43-yard bomb on which free agent flanker Byron Williams beat Lester Hayes for 6 points. But the Giants' beleaguered quarterback Scott Bruner labored under extreme heat all afternoon, suffering 7 sacks and a trio of interceptions. Marcus Allen scored LA's final touchdown on a beautifully executed cutback. It came on a week when all 14 home teams were winners, the first time this ever happened in the NFL.